And thanks for joining us for another edition of Weekend Winners. Again, it's a special edition, given it's night 2 of the TAB Constellations, and what a night we've got coming up on Saturday night. 3 Group 1 features, but it's all about the speed on Saturday night. The Garrard Sunshine Sprint, a Group 1 feature for the open class performers, and the inaugural running of the Garrards Golden Girl, a race for the pacing mares. So there's a lot to look forward to, and the Trotters are taking centre stage as well on Saturday night with the running of the DJA Trotting Championship Final. Capacity size field, they go over the staying trip of 2,647 metres. It is going to be a crackerjack night, fresh off night 1, a big success last week, amazing dream taking out the inaugural running of the Rising Sun. Joining me again is Darren Clayton. Darren, last week was super. Saturday night potentially could be even better.
Yeah, it certainly will, Chris. It's amazing to think how good last week was to what we've lined up tomorrow night at Albion Park. This field for the Sunshine Sprint, the DJA, the Golden Girl, all great fields, and really sets it up for what is going to be a cracking night.
As I said, it's all about the speed. Current track record, Albion Park, 150.4, co-owned by the champ, I'm the Mighty Quinn, along with Cruise. We've got 2 mile features tomorrow night, the Sunshine Sprint plus the Golden Girl. Is the track record, in your opinion, in any jeopardy?
I think it possibly could be. That front line brimming with speed. There's going to be pressure at some stage. You've got King of Swing drawn out the back. Whether he gets into the race early, puts that pressure on, or you've got a horse like Crunch Time who just loves to roll. If he gets anywhere near the front, that time's going to be in serious jeopardy. And the mares, 4 current equal track record holders of that mark, 151.4. could be in serious danger as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting night of racing. 10 races in total. Don't forget as well, TAB have a quaddie jackpot of $20,000, and that pool is projected to exceed $100,000. So races 5, 6, 7 and 8, it takes in most of the features there on Saturday night. Well worth taking a shot at the TAB quaddie. So a projected pool there of $100,000 with that starting pool of $20,000. All the form talk and interviews just around the corner. Let's have a look at the form talk for all of these feature races coming through on Saturday night. We've got the 3 Group 1 features, and we've got a couple of Group 3 features to look at as well. They're the Southeast Oaks and the Derby, and we're going to start with the boys first. The Southeast Derby comes through as race number 2 on the program on Saturday night. Darren, this is not an easy race to assess because we've got runners coming from here, there and everywhere. So you've got that hard task once again of mapping these horses at the bell. This wouldn't have been an easy assignment.
No, certainly has not been at all, Chris. Like you mentioned, horses coming. We've got 2 newcomers up from Victoria in Bondi Lockdown and Barsby and Darren taking their place this week. So where they position, Bondi Lockdown has shown previously he can work in his races. So for that reason, I think he probably rolls to the breeze, sits parked. Aaron Dunn positioning him somewhere there. Barsby and Darren, that said, very quick beginner, but to his outside, big wheels. Loves to roll forward and get up on the speed. So I've actually marked Big Wheels as getting to the front. If he gets there, it's a big ask for him over 2100 because he will be copping some heat at some point. So whether he can hold on is another scenario, but I think Big Wheels finds the front. I think Bondi Lockdown gets up outside of him early. Mick Stanley probably content to just take that trail, knowing there'll be pressure on with Baru and Banner. Uncle Shank, again, another high-speed horse. He probably pushes through on the back of Bar and Banter. Who leads up the 3 wide line? I have he ain't faking leading that. He might just have to do the work, and that will leave him vulnerable late. You've then got a horse like American Dealer in good form at the moment. Where he gets from gate 7, a big query. I think he has no option but to snag back early. So that's how I've sort of seen it, but there's going to be plenty of swoopers trying to take their closing shot here.
Yeah, it's a very difficult race, and all of these horses are vying for a spot in next week's Group 1 Queensland Derby, where they'll be going up against the likes of Krug and Cashed Up. Those 2 3-year-olds having this week off following their efforts in last week's Rising Sun. So that's the way you've mapped that race on Saturday night. Who are you selecting to win?
Yeah, I think Bondi Lockdown comes up with the right sort of form, and if he can control that race from the breeze, which I think he can, I think he'll be mighty hard to stop. He comes up with good form, where he positions. Like I said, I think he can do the work. So it just depends how much he can get away with in those middle stages. But certainly Captain Crusader, I was a big fan of his work leading into last week's race. He's just got nutted on the line, so I've thrown him in for second, and I think he's another sweeper to look out for. Big wheels and barroom banter to fill the top 4 positions.
Okay, I'm seeing it a little differently, but I'm not surprised because it's a very hard race to assess. I'm with last week's winner, and I've probably underrated him to a degree, American Dealer, but I thought he was really strong last week. That was a combined race, 3 and 4-year-olds, and he took care of them in really strong fashion. The draw's an obvious concern. It's no luxury gate 7, but I think he's good enough to win again. So I'm going to stick with 7 American Dealer. 2 Barroom Banter. He's a really good horse, a proven Group 1 winner. So too is 5 Bondi Lockdown. These Victorians really add a different dimension to this race on Saturday night. It's going to be fascinating to see how it all unfolds. And Captain Crusader, a runner-up behind American Dealer last week in that Rising Sun Constellation. You can't knock his current form, and he's got Luke McCarthy driving. So 7, 2, 5 and 11 for me in the Southeast Derby. That race proudly sponsored by Changeover standing at Burwood Stud. Let's have a look now at the Southeast Oaks. This is a Group 3 feature for the fillies, and again, many of these fillies are eyeing off a spot in next week's Group 1 Queensland Oaks. Darren, how did you map this race? And again, probably looks a little easier compared to the Derby, but still, there's a few unknowns here.
Yeah, it certainly is, and Talent to Spare is obviously the first one we take a good look at. She's a gate speed mare. She's proven that she gets to the front and rolls along. So from gate 5, she'll move in one position with the scratching of the emergency. So from moving in that one position closer, I can see her spearing straight to the front. From there, Trent Dawson will try to control it. He'll need to pinch an easier stanza at some point, where that is, whether that's sort of second, first, even third, although Trent's always one that likes to pinch that third one, try to put it out of the reach of his chasers. So I thought she gets to the front. Can see a mid-race move from She's Miss Divine. She's been really strong at Redcliffe, getting up outside them. So from gate 11, certainly makes it tough for her, but if she gets forward and puts the pressure into this race, I think that will then give Sporty Dancer, the race favourite, the perfect trail in behind, and from there I think she's pretty hard to beat. Some of those drawn out wide, I don't think they have much other choice other than to go back, knowing that that speed is drawn to the inside. So for me, I've put Talent to Spare on getting to the front there, and probably She's Miss Divine coming around to give her the eyeball at some stage.
Okay, so that being said, if you've got Talent to Spare in front, do you think she can take them all the way? Are you selecting her?
I'm not. I don't think she can see it out. I think there will be pressure at some point. Just a little bit concerned how she came back in that race over the mile last time out. Admittedly, she was first up from a break, but was run down after getting away with a 33-second second quarter over the mile. So probably thought she should have been able to see it out with that. That said, the horse that beat her in that went on to run a really good race in the Rising Sun in cashed up. So that said, Sporty Dancer on top for me. I thought Jasper gets a nice trail into the race. She was good last week behind Chamonix. Talent to Spare, be hanging on, and another Victorian visitor making the way up. Moments like these, very map dependent where she finishes up in the run here, but if she's no worse than 3 fence and spots a gap, she'll be charging home. Yeah, she was a runner-up in the Tasmanian Oaks earlier this season. Moments like these for trainer Jess Tubbs. Luke McCarthy engaged to drive. On with Sporty Dancer as well. She came out of that race against Chamonix last week. Her sectionals were absolutely sensational. She draws on the inside of Talent to Spare. She does have early speed. Maybe they roll the dice early and try and get up nice and hand it to the pace. I think either scenario, she's going to be a real winning threat here, number 4, Sporty Dancer. Talent to Spare, I sort of tend to agree with Darren. I think initially I was disappointed with that effort last time out. She was fresh up following her triad victory. That was a Group 1 victory as well 2 starts ago. She got a very easy second quarter over the mile and then was run down behind Cashed Up. But when you go back over that race and look at the form out of it, Cashed Up ran a cracker in the Rising Sun, and there's been a number of other winners. I think American Dealer's been able to win, Franco Nandor's been able to win, there may be even one other winner. So maybe that race was probably a little stronger than what we first thought. So I'm giving her a good chance. She's obviously going to be fitter as well. 2100 metres, there's still that slight concern, but
She's going to be very hard to beat. Jasper was terrific last week, coming out of that same race as Sporty Dancer. Sectionally, she was super, and she's going to relish the 2138 metres. I don't know what happened to Reclive, whether she just didn't handle the track, but she was disappointing there. But that was the real Jasper last week. She's got winning claims for sure. And 7 Eva Mateo's doing nothing wrong. Terrific in the Reclive Oaks, beating many of these fillies home. And then last time out, in a much easier race, she was able to lead and win. She's got a poor draw. That's against her, but you can't knock her. So 4, 5, 10 and 7 in race number 3. That's the Changeover Southeast Oaks. So they're 2 really good races, the Oaks and the Derby, and we look forward to the big Group 1 features coming through next week, the Queensland Oaks and the Queensland Derby. Let's keep rolling along here. The first of our Group 1 features that we're going to look at now is the DJA Trotting Championship Final. We've seen these trotters over the past fortnight. First round of heats over the 2,647 metres. Last week we're over the shorter trip, 2,138 metres. Darren, we're back to the longer journey, capacity size field, and we've got handicaps. Not easy to map this race. How did you see it?
No, certainly not easy at all, and you know, some of these trotters can be a little bit sketchy at the start. All in all, they've been pretty good at the start this series. So Majestic Simon, he's the back marker or co-back marker off 30 metres. I can see him pressing forward if they want to pull the trigger early, try to take that early advantage, get in front of some of his rivals here who are off-speed runners. If they can do that, get to the front and then able to just dictate a little bit, I think he'll be very hard to run down from that position. Humble lad, he's been versatile. He did plenty of work in the first round heat over this longer trip where he was first up from a break, so take plenty into that, and then second up again worked home strongly, so he'll be certainly fitter after 2 runs back from a break, so he's come into that nicely. Pink Galahs, she's the big query. Was a little bit sketchy first up at her first look at Albion Park, made an error but regathered and really finished them off and put them away. Last week, again, worked home strongly once she let down. Just whether she has to lead up that 3 wide line, I think she does have to. If she does have to do that, well, that's certainly going to leave her vulnerable in the closing stages, because if she can follow a helmet into the race, well, then she's going to certainly have that sprint. So I thought she might have to lead them up here, purely because if Majestic Simon takes that early shot, or even Humble Lad takes that early shot to get forward, well, then that's going to leave her to do the chasing. So where they all filter in behind her over the long trip, we've seen it before. It's a race where there can be plenty of early moves just to try and find their position in the capacity field.
Tell me those stats that you rattled off earlier with the DJA, because they're quite compelling when you're doing the form here. Has a horse ever gone back-to-back in the DJA?
No horse has gone back-to-back. So we're looking at about 2008, 2009. 2008, I think, the first edition of this race was held. And since then, no winner has gone back-to-back. We have had a multiple winner in Our Over and Over. He lines up again in this race. Amazingly, he won it in 2014. He won it in 2017. Could it be a case of third time lucky? Again, 7 years after that original win.
And has a horse ever clean swept the DJA series?
No horse has ever clean swept either. So
that's Humble Lad and Pink Galahs.
They were our 2 heat winners, but won both rounds of heat. So if you like to follow the stats, we've got some horses here that are going to struggle. After saying all that, they're the 3 horses I'm putting in my top 4. So where you take that, history's made to be broken, they say, so it could be this year.
So what are you tipping then in the DJA?
I still think Pink Galahs. I think she's the class runner. I think off the 20 metres that gets her into the race really well. It's just the only concern, like I mentioned, whether she can get a helmet to follow into the race. If she does, I think she's too strong. Waits for that closing shot. There'll be plenty of tempo at some point, and I think she's just too good. Humble Lad, number 12, he'll certainly be in the mix. One at value I thought will certainly be thereabouts. Northern Muscle, number 10. Dennis Smith does a great job with this guy. Second only to Tough Monarch as the best ever Q-bred trotter, so certainly we'll throw him in for the Queensland perspective. And number 15, Majestic Simon, he'll be trying to hang on if he does go forward. If he doesn't, we know he does have that amazing change-up speed. Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to this race. I think it's going to be highly competitive, but I'm with Pink Galahs as well. The concern I have with Pink Galahs, she's a tiny little mare, and this is what, 4 weeks in a row she's gone to the post, and last week was a challenging assignment. She came through it with flying colours, but I'm tipping it might have just taken a little bit out of her. But on the flip side, point-to-point speed, she's the quickest horse in this race. So I'm going to stick with 13 Pink Galahs. 12 Humble Lad, he's been awesome so far. He was power-driven in that first round heat. He was much better last week coming off speed, and he's got that change-up speed, so he's going to make a real race of it with Pink Galahs. 11 Gold Chain. She's the query runner in many ways, the X Factor, because I don't think we've seen the best of her yet. She's been trotting smoothly. She was a lot better last week in that second round heat compared to the opening night. She's just building nicely. She might be ready to deliver here in the big Group 1 final. And 9 Red Castleton, I reckon he's a good value chance in this final. He was terrific last week in the heat. So 13, 12, 11 and 9 for me in the Darrell Alexander Trotting Championship final. Let's go to the first of our Group 1 pacing features on Saturday night, and this is the inaugural running of the Group 1 Golden Girl. $100,000 up the grabs here, proudly sponsored by Garrards. And I think, Darren, you could easily say this is the best bunch of mares we've seen race this year anywhere in the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah, certainly, and how privileged are we that it's here at Albion Park for a first-time race, and we've been singing out for a long time that Queensland needs a Group 1 open mares race. We get it. This is the inaugural running of the Golden Girl, and I'm really looking forward to what this race delivers. We've got $2 million earning mares in that field. Our Princess Tiffany, she's been so good out throughout her career. Could it be a fairy tale swan song? Yeah,
exactly right. There's a lot at stake here, a lot of permutations as well. In particular, who leads this Golden Girl? Will it be Spellbound? Will it be Amazing Dream? Let's go to the map now. How do you see it at the bell?
Yeah, I thought Spellbound looked the obvious leader, and I think they'll be pretty keen to hold up from there. She's had previous victories in front. She's going super, this mare, for Nathan Purdon. Her win at Menangle 2 starts back, it was a super win. She wasn't expected. It was only a small field, and she did come off the speed there, but when she found open space, she just really savaged the line. Super speed, this mare. Her stablemate, Amazing Dream, I didn't think they'd be too keen to work too hard with her. I thought maybe they might just tuck in, even though she got an easy run last week. Although it was a tough race, the Rising Sun, she did get that easy run in behind the speed. So whether that leaves her with a little bit still in the tank, but obviously though connections will still be looking towards the Blacks of Fake next week as well. Spellbound in front, Scarlet Babe, she's been low flying since she arrived in Queensland with Vicky Rasmussen. Good gate speed mare. If she takes an early shot and gets repelled, that might just leave her exposed. Pelosi gains a start in the field with the scratching of Rock and Roll Angel, so she'll be thereabouts. Stunning Nun, if Spellbound holds up, on the back of her, ready to take that shot. And Gerarda's Delight, if she just sneaks down to 3 fence, amazing speed in the closing stages, this mare, absolutely flying. She's a huge price at the moment, $101 to win on the TAB fixed price at present. Hard to see her perhaps winning, but that's a huge price and place possibility for sure. Okay, so that's how you've got them at the bell. Who do you see winning at the finish? I'm firmly in the camp of Spellbound. I think she comes up with the options, whether they do look to lead or whether she does take the cover either on the stablemate or on another runner. I think she just gets all the options, and from there, really keen on her chances. I thought she was a good thing, Spellbound, and one of the better bets on the night. Amazing Dream, too short for mine in the TAB market, but that said, don't discount her. Discounted her, which proved to be our undoing last week in the Rising Sun. That said, she probably ended up in a position no one expected, so Mark Purdon was able to take full advantage of that. So numbers 1, 4, 8 and 9, the Stunning Nun and Better in Force. Probably not going as good as she has in previous campaigns, but a proven Group 1 performer, don't write her off. Yeah, I've got the same numbers, slightly different order. I'm with the favourite this week. She was unwanted last week. Believe it or not, she just didn't get any sort of airtime last week, Amazing Dream. She's been the focus all week long, Amazing Dream, and she's a chance at creating history. She did that last week, taking out the Rising Sun. Here she is in the inaugural running of the Golden Girl, and she's an odds-on favourite. Different driver this week, Anthony Butt replacing Mark Purdon. Mark goes back to New Zealand. She loses nothing as far as reinsmanship is concerned. Anthony Butt, world-class driver.
I think they've got to be aggressive with Amazing Dream here at the start. It does look a little awkward now that Pelosi's got the start, but I think they'll go forward. Maybe they might even get the lead from Spellbound. Who knows? But I think Nathan Purden is going to walk away with the prize. That's the way I'm looking at it. I'm confident the winner will be trained by Nathan Purden. I'm going 4 to beat 1. Spellbound, a short course specialist. Great run last week from gate 7. Barrier 1 tomorrow night, and they've got options. They can either try for an all-the-way victory or take the sit. Look for that passing lane run. She's going to be right in the firing line. The Stunning Nun, better in force, and I'm going to throw in our Princess Tiffany. I think she'll be better. She obviously had issues last week. She tied up. She's got a poor draw, but here's hoping that in her final ever race start, she can produce some of the goods that she has done right throughout her career, because as Darren outlined, one of 2 mares in this race with more than $1 million in the bank. So that promises to be an absolute ripper. The first ever edition of the Group 1 Golden Girl, $100,000 up the grabs, proudly sponsored by Garrards. Let's look now at race number 7. This is our main event tomorrow night. This is the Group 1 Garrard Sunshine Sprint, a very iconic race here in Queensland, part of the Queensland harness racing fabric, and it has been since 1983. And what a race this is going to be. Don't forget, there is that big quaddie jackpot as well, $20,000 starting pool, and that pool is projected to exceed $100,000. And this is one of the legs here, race number 7, the Sunshine Sprint. A lot has been said about this race. A lot has been said about the barrier draw, Darren. That was conducted on Monday afternoon. Copy that. He's got gate 5, King of Swing, the outside of the second row. What does the reigning Grand Circuit champion do from that draw? Where do you have him positioned at the bell?
I think he'll be 3 wide. I'm pretty sure Luke McCarthy would be happy to be 3 wide at some point. Obviously the bell is after about 600 metres here at Albion Park. He'll be trying to flush something out. He'd love to get a cart into it, but I doubt anyone would want to cart King of Swing into the race. He can't sit back too long. If he sits back too long, the race probably gets taken away from him rather than him putting himself into the race. Turn It Up, we've seen him fire off the gate from gate 7 a couple of times here at Albion Park previously. He led from gate 7 in the Blacks a Fake in December last year. He led from gate 7 a few runs back where it looked like he was just ambling across, and he just got across so easily. Plenty of speed inside him, but he gets that advantage from gate 7 where he just gets a little bit wider of them and can take that sort of left turn slingshot effectively, I guess, from that gate. Crunch Time, he's a good beginner. I've gone through a lot of videos of the frontline speed here. Crunch Time is a horse that just seems to take a little bit to wind up, as does Older Orlando. And it's hard to line up gate speed at Menangle versus gate speed at other venues. They get that long run into that first turn at Menangle, and sure, a lot of these horses have led from wide gates, but again, it's that same situation that Turn It Up sort of gets to his advantage, I feel here, where he's wider and he gets that time to come across them. So those drawn in a bit tighter might just find it a little bit tougher where they're all coming out together. Outer Orlando, like I said, he's got gate speed, but again, I don't think he's got that trigger point gate speed that Turn It Up seems to have. Bright Energy, he's a query. First ever career start from gate number 1 for him in his career. So, you know, whether that he gets a little bit overawed with the occasion or not, that's a little bit of a query. So all that said, I think Turn It Up leads. I think that leaves Copy That to have to push forward and sit outside him. If that happens, Crunch Time I thought was the first to the pegs. From there, Colt 31 gets a nice trail through because he'll come into gate number 9. So from there, he gets that nice trail through, probably positions in the 1x1, which is a good spot for him. We've had to see him do work in his races a lot lately. He'll get an easier trip here, and we've seen him off speed where he's got a really good change-up speed where he can come over the top of them like he has in the Blacks of Fake previously, like he has in the Victoria Derby. So certainly throwing him in, but all said and done, I think King of Swing, whether he's 3 wide, whether he pushes forward to get to sit parked, wherever he gets to, he's the horse I'm on. Okay,
so you want to go with King of Swing. You've got him there 3 wide solo at the bell. Nobody drives Albion Park better than Luke McCarthy, a man with more than 70 Group 1 victories against his name. And you think he can add another Group 1 this Saturday night with the Sunshine Sprint?
Yeah, certainly can. Do think he will be able to get there. Like I said, he'll need to work at some stage, but you look at his figures, unbeaten at the mile since crossing the Nullarbor to join the Cobbitty Equine team. So compelling stats, 21 starts he's had for them, unbeaten at the mile.
Okay, so who have you got as the dangers to King of Swing? Who are you putting in as your top 4 here?
Yeah, I think Turn It Up from his gate, if he gets to the front, I think he's going well enough. His numbers may not be that great, but I think there's a little bit of a misconception of how well he is actually going at present. I think he's going really well, and if he can just grab a breather at some point, if he does get away with that, he's going to be hard to run down in my map where he gets to the front. Like I said with Colt 31, I think he just tucks in behind there, gets a perfect trip, and don't discount the Queensland reigning Horse of the Year. He'll certainly be in the mix, and a victory. We'll see him, the newest millionaire in the sport. He's right on the cusp of getting over that mark. So 11, 7, 10 and 5 for mine. Okay,
well, I'm going with the 4-year-old, number 5, Copy That. I think the barrier draw is significantly in his favour in comparison to King of Swing. He's been terrific so far, Copy That. The first up victory at the mile in the Wandais, mate, was stunning, and I thought he was really good last week in the Rising Sun, and his sectionals back it up. Barrier 5, it's not going to be an easy drive for Anthony Butt. He'll be able to size it up pretty quickly though, and he'll be able to see where his key rivals are. So I'm happy to go with Copy That to take out the Sunshine Sprint. King of Swing, if you're ever going to take him on, I think this is the race that you've got to do it in, because this is a nasty barrier draw, the outside of the second row. Mathematically, it almost looks impossible, but as I said, he's got Luke McCarthy driving. He's going to have to cover ground at some point. He's unbeaten here at Albion Park. He's 3 starts, 3 victories, but he's led in all of those. He's going to have to come wide at some point here. So if you ever want to take him on, this is the race to do it in. Rockin' Marty, who was terrific coming out of the Wandais, mate, against Copy That. The Goulburn trained pacer can race well again here. And Turn It Up. He was the really unlucky runner coming out of that Wandais, mate. He was bolting in behind them at the home turn. Never got a chance to extend. And if he's in front over the mile, he's capable of going really fast time. He's a multiple Group 1 winner, Turn It Up. So 5, 11, 4, 7. They're my thoughts for the Group 1 Garrard Sunshine Sprint coming through on Saturday night. So there is a look at all of our feature races coming through on Saturday night. Another reminder about that TAB Quaddie, a $20,000 start pool projected to exceed $100,000, and there looks like there's going to be plenty of value in that Quaddie there on Saturday night, so make sure you check that out. Let's catch up with our drivers that are playing a key role on Saturday night, Angus Garrard and Leonard Cain. Angus Garrard is with us now to go through his book of drives for Saturday night, night 2 of the TAB Constellations. Angus, appreciate the time.
No worries, always good to be on, Chris.
A couple of good drives as well on a big night as well.
Yeah, that's right. It's always good to pick up a few drives around this time of year.
Let's start with race 1. Rock and Roll Icon is your drive for trainer Donnie Smith. Drawn the inside of the second row. Not an ideal draw for him.
No, that's right, Chris. But in saying that, he's second up from a fair break there, so it probably won't hurt him in the long run.
It looks like this front line is going to generate plenty of pressure there. There's a couple of speedsters drawn in the centre of the line there.
Yeah, that's right. His run last week was super in that open race, so if we do get a little bit of luck go our way and there's some pressure and we can work our way off late, I'm sure he'll be right there. Okay, what are you thinking though? Maybe 3, maybe 4 back the inside? Yeah, I think so. Definitely at least 3 fence. 3 fence will be a bonus. Any worse, I suppose we just got to play it by ear. Okay, but you were happy with that run last week? Yeah, for sure. I thought he was really good. I sort of thought his last 50 was probably his best, and he hit the line really strong. Okay, well that's Rock and Roll Icon in race 1. Let's move across to race number 3. This is the Southeast Oaks Group 3 level. Mullum Flow. This is a filly that's trained by your dad, Darren, and she's absolutely flying. Barrier 1 on paper looks ideal. How do you see it though? Yeah, it's probably not great for her, Chris. She's not blessed with a lot of gate speed at this stage, but in saying that, we're going to be snuggled away on the pegs there somewhere, so if there's a bit of pressure, which looking at the race, I think there will be at some point, it probably won't hurt. Okay. She's been building nicely and in a short space of time. Has she surprised you with how far she's come? No, I wouldn't say she surprised us, Chris. We always thought she had really good ability and we thought she'd make the grade. It was just a matter of sort of ironing her out a little bit. She's just immature and very green, but she's definitely got the ability to match or even go better than these fillies.
Okay, that's a good push. And just looking back at that last start victory, she was very good, got a perfect run into it over the concluding stages. And looking at it, she could easily be a winner of a past 4 starts. When she was beaten 2 starts ago, she was terrific in defeat.
Yeah, she was awesome. She ran home a sub 55 last half, coming from last over 21 that day. She couldn't have impressed me anymore.
Okay, so we just need that little bit of luck. If she gets it, she's more than capable of taking it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, let's go across to race 4. The following race, here's a Group 1 feature, the DJA Trotting Championship Final, Sir Fahrenheit. He's been really good in both heats so far.
Yeah, that's right. He's sort of had to do more work than we would have liked in both of them, but he's fought on and hasn't been beat far both times.
Okay, how does this race set up on Saturday night? Capacity size field, you're off a 10-metre handicap, but he's been getting away really well. Here's a replay of last week, and he stepped really strongly last week.
Yeah, he's been stepping super, Chris. He, if you sort of go back and look at it last week, he's probably run a sub 40 lead time at least to get to where he was, and then we sort of had the foot down the whole way. So I thought his effort last week was super. Two off 10 metres probably isn't perfect. Obviously, we would have liked to have been 1 off 10, but I'm sure he'll be somewhere.
Okay, just going back to that race last week, we dropped back to the 21 after the first round of heats over the 2600. That race last week was more like a sprint race because they never backed off at any stage, did they?
Yeah, for sure. We never came up for air, and he sort of never really got a chance to get up on the bit. Following God of Thunder there, we just had the foot down the whole way, and he actually sort of picked up around the last corner and actually lost a bit of momentum, sort of got held up a tad, so we were really happy with his performance.
Okay, with this big field on Saturday night, it's going to generate pressure again, so if he can find a good spot, he's going to be hard to hold out.
Yeah, for sure. If he can be somewhere handy with cover and be emerging at the top of the straight, I'm sure he'll be very hard to hold out.
Do you have a preference out of Humble Lad or Pink Galahs?
Oh, look, Pink Galahs is probably the obvious choice. She's sort of been super impressive. Last week, she didn't really have any right to get into that race considering how fast we were going, and to sort of work so hard and come from so far back and still get up was pretty enormous.
Okay, bringing up a Group 1 victory with a horse trained by your dad, that'll be a special moment for you, I'm sure.
Yeah, 100%. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Race 9 on Saturday night, My Alderman Star. He's such a competitor, this guy. He's always thereabouts. He's got a nice draw here, gate 2. I'm tipping he's going to be very hard to beat here.
Yeah, that's right. He's been super, Chris. Last week it was only bad luck that beat him. We sort of thought it panned out perfect when the 2 held up, but it just wasn't to be. And but he attacked the line really strongly, and the week before he was super as well. So if he can be somewhere handy, he'll be very hard to beat. And
he should be handy though, shouldn't he, Angus? Because he's got a speedster on his inside with Rock and Roll Classic. So you're going to be thereabouts soon after the start.
Yeah, definitely. I think we should sort of be up in that first 4 or 5. So I think he'll definitely give a good showing.
Is Ranger Bomb the horse to beat?
Yeah, I think so, Chris. He's been racing well. Sort of had to park out a couple of times since he's been up here, which probably doesn't suit him down to the ground. Whether he has to do that again or not, we'll see, but I think we can definitely beat him.
Okay, well, that's My Alderman Star, a really good push. 4 drives, but 4 good chances looking at it.
Yeah, that's right, Chris.
Which one's the pick of them?
It's sort of hard to say. My Ultimate Star's probably best winning chance, but I'm really looking forward to all of them. Mullen Flow, it'll be exciting to see how she goes and up in that grade.
All right, a lot to look forward to on Saturday night. Best of luck with all 4, but we'll put a circle around race 9, number 2, My Alderman Star. Angus, as always, a real pleasure. Best of luck on the weekend.
Thanks, Chris.
Young gun Leonard Cain has 2 drives on Saturday night, but they're both in the feature races. One in the Group 1 Sunshine Sprint for Garrards, and he's also got a drive in the Group 3 Changeover South East Oaks, and he's in the hot seat with us now. Leonard, appreciate the time.
No problems at all, Chris. Thank you.
Let's start with race 3. This is the Oaks. Eva Mateo, you've been with this filly since she's been up for legendary trainer Peter Manning. She's got a tough gate here on Saturday night. What were the thoughts when the barrier draw was released?
Yeah, that's right, Chris. She's got a terrible draw, but it makes it a tough task. But the way she's been racing, I think she's capable of it with the right run.
The 2 runs so far during this Queensland campaign have been really good. First up in the Redcliffe Oaks, she had a bad gate there, the outside of the second row, made up really good ground, and her sectionals were probably the best out of any filly in that race. Last time out, looking at this replay, she had a fairly easy kill, you could call it. She drew gate 2, she was able to lead, dictate, run home in 27.5. She looked good that night, she looked comfortable. Was that a good confidence-boosting victory for her?
Definitely, Chris. Yeah, no, I was over the moon with her run, like you say, last start there at Albion Park. She rated 56.9 for the mud. Got home in 27.5, like you say, with something left. So I was really impressed with that victory. I think she'll run a really good race. It's just obviously the draw's very tricky.
I suppose in the 2 runs so far, she's shown that she's versatile, coming from near enough to last in the Redcliffe Oaks, and then she was on the front end there at Albion Park last time out. So she is versatile.
Absolutely, yeah. Like you say, her Redcliffe Oaks run, when she ran 3rd there, her run I thought was probably the run of the race, to be fair. You know, I think she was the only horse in the race really to make ground, especially the ground that she did make, and she was still hitting the line strong. If she had got a better card into the race, I feel as though she could have probably gone close to winning that race, but luck wasn't on her side that night, but she raced super.
Okay, breaking down this race on Saturday night, gate 7, there's plenty of power drawn to your inside. If you go back, there's every chance that you're going to get a nice horse to follow over the latter part, because there's some pretty tidy fillies drawn off the second row.
Absolutely, yeah, you know, especially Mick Stanley's filly, and no, like you say, there's a couple of nice fillies there that you definitely wouldn't be frightened to follow, that's for sure.
Okay, so she's capable, she just needs that right horse to follow.
Definitely, yeah, in my opinion.
All right, let's move across to the Group 1 Garrard Sunshine Sprint. You're going to be the man in the firing line here, because you've got gate 1 with Bright Energy. He is a fast beginner. He was luckless last week. What are the expectations here?
I think he'll run a really nice race in this, Chris. Obviously, you know, in a race like this, over a mile, the speed's obviously going to be on. He's got wicked gate speed, so I think we can end up wherever we sort of want to end up. Hopefully, if we can be close enough to behind leader, that'd be great. But, you know, I think in a race like this, like I say, they're going to be running the whole way, so he's going to get his chance. He was very unlucky on Saturday night. He got held up and sort of tried to weave through the middle, and no runs come, so he went to the line hard held. But I was impressed with the way he raced and his manners, so I think he'll run a really nice race with the right trip.
All right, the start is crucial to the outcome of this race. It always is. And you've got speed everywhere off the front row. Crunch Time right alongside you. Alta Orlando, a horse you know really well. He's in gate 3, and Turn It Up out in gate 7. The million-dollar question, who leads?
In my opinion, I think Turn It Up will. He's just so quick off the gate over a 1,000-metre track. I think, you know, he looks like the leader. He's just... nothing can really match him out the gate, you know. He's so quick out and he does it so well. So I think he's going to burn across and be there quite quick.
Okay, that leads me into my next question. The 2 big guns here, Copy That and King of Swing. Where do they end up after the first 200 metres?
Well, that's right. You know, it's a tricky question. You sort of wonder where King of Swing's going to get into the race. So Copy That's obviously... you know, it's a better draw for him this week, given that King of Swing's drawn the outside of the back line. It's going to make it very tough, but obviously he's a great horse, and well, they're both great horses, so it's going to be a fantastic race.
Okay, you're part of the Cobbity Equine team. Are they happy with the way King of Swing is progressing this campaign?
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. He's thriving after his run on Saturday night there. He's just, you know, he's above himself. He's running around the paddock, bucking and kicking, and you know, his presence as well. So we're very, very happy with the way he's trained on since his last victory there, and we're expecting big things on Saturday night.
It's a big task though, isn't it? The outside of the second row over the mile, almost you don't want to say mathematically impossible, but it's going to be a really big challenge for him.
Oh, absolutely. You know, like you outlined, Chris, outside of the back line, over a mile, you know, when does a horse get into a race like that, and how quick are they got to go? You know, what's their last half have to be able to run them ones down?
Yeah, it's a great question. The track record's 50-4. Do they break it on Saturday night?
Oh, I think they'll go pretty close to it.
All right, this is mouth-watering stuff. Can't wait for it. Hey, two really good drives there. Eva Mateo in the Oaks and Bright Energy in the Group 1 Sunshine Sprint. Really appreciate the time. We'll see you trackside.
No problem at all. Thank you.
Welcome back to this special edition of Weekend Winners. We are previewing Night 2 of the TAB Constellations, and the three Group 1 features are the DJA Trotting Championship Final, the Group 1 Golden Girl, first ever running of the Golden Girl, and the Garrard Sunshine Sprint. It promises to be a ripping night at Albion Park this Saturday night. Time now to find a best bet and a quaddie for the meeting. As far as a best bet, I'm going to go first. I'll jump in before Darren. Good luck, because it is just impossible to find a best bet for mine. It is a very, very open card. There's multiple chances in each and every race, so I can't label one for this Saturday night. I think there's plenty of value to be found, so just enjoy, and good luck for that card of racing coming through. Now, as far as the TAB quaddie is concerned with this big jackpot, I think that first leg will play the numbers of 4, 5, 7, 8 and 12. That's the 4-year-old championship. Then we move across to numbers 1 and 4. That's the Golden Girl, Spellbound Amazing Dream. 5 and 11 in the Sunshine Sprint. That's Copy That and King of Swing. And in the last leg, I'm prepared to go a little wide here. This looks a little tricky. So 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 and 10. That's $140 for 100% of the dividend. You can play that to suit your own budget, but that's my thought on the quaddie for Saturday night. And as I said, really hard to find a best bet. Darren, you do the dashboard each and every week for Racing Queensland. You can find it on the Racing Queensland website. Have you found a best bet for Saturday night? And I'm interested to see how you've put together your quaddie for the weekend as well.
Yeah, I've certainly found what I think is a good bet, and it comes up in race number 8, horse number 2, Rock Fisherman for Bernie Hewitt. He's a good gate speed horse, and his 2 runs up here in Queensland have been really strong, really taken with how he has hit the line in both of those. So I can't foresee him copying any snags there. So Rock Fisherman, fill your nets with him in race number 8. As far as the quaddie's concerned, that first leg, numbers 2, 5, 8 and 12. The second leg, same as you, Chris, numbers 1 and 4, Spellbound and Amazing Dream. In the third leg, the Sunshine Sprint, 5, 7 and 11. Copy That, Turn It Up and King of Swing. And in that final leg, just playing around Rock Fisherman, should he happen to go under there. But like I said, I'm very keen on his chances. So 2, 5, 6 and 10 in that closing leg. As far as everything else on there, driver to follow this week, Luke McCarthy. It's a bit of a broken record sometimes, but no driver drives Albion Park better than Luke. And with 3 Group 1s this Saturday night, there is a possibility that he could certainly add at least 1, maybe even 2. He's got Humble Lad in the Trot, the DJA final. He's got Better in Force in the Mares race, and he's got King of Swing, who I'm very keen on there. And leaders, if you're looking for a leader, Maywin's Best looks the leader in race 1, Rock and Roll Classic in race 9, and Black Sedance in race 5 in the 4-year-old. So all the information there. Check out the Racing Queensland social pages for that information.
Outstanding information, and he is the driver to follow, no doubt about it, on night 2 of the TAB Constellations, Luke McCarthy. Another reminder about our quaddie jackpot, $20,000 starting pool. That pool is projected to tip $100,000. We've just given you our thoughts, so you can muck around with those numbers, probably take a few out, put a few in of your own, and hopefully get a good result there for night 2 of the carnival. It is going to be a ripping night on Saturday night. Really looking forward to it. The track record, as I said, for the mile here at Albion Park is 150.4, held by I'm the Mighty Quinn and also Cruz. Will they beat that mark on Saturday night? Time will tell. Darren, really appreciate the time tonight. Can't wait to see you trackside on Saturday night. This is going to be a night to remember.
Absolutely looking forward to that. If that's what we've got this week, what's next week hold?
Yeah, exactly right. And next week, just a quick one, 6 Group 1 races coming through next Saturday night. It's going to be a monster program. It's the final night of the TAB Constellations. 6 Group 1s coming through, highlighted by the TAB Blacks of Fate. That's it for another edition of Weekend Winners. We'll see you trackside.